Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Newfound Happy Hour. My name is Sarah, and if you're new here, this is a podcast where we share experiences and give best friend advice and big sister energy kind of vibes. And this is the second part of a Mother's Day series that I'm doing. The first part was speaking with my friend Sarah about her experience with a 5-week-old. And then this part 2 is speaking to my friend Hailey about her experience with a 16-month-old. And so last episode, we were kind of talking about things that her and her partner try to be conscious of raising a little boy. And so that is where we will pick up our conversation today, right where we left off.
Okay, so one of the biggest things that I'm like always, well, both Sam and I are really, really conscious of like doing and being firm on is like, and not in like an over the top, because I know people think our generation is so soft, but it's like, no, we just know how to respect each other for the most part, I think.
Yeah.
But things like if I'm giving Luca a hug and like he's not really a cuddly kid because he's just, he is like, he definitely has like his snuggly moments, but he's at his toddler age. Like he just wants to run. Like he's in his chaos
Oh,
era. I gotta respect that. But if I'm like hugging him and he starts pushing me away or he's saying no, 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 like I just gotta let him go. Like as much as I want to continue to like give him a cuddle and kiss him, I'm just like I just need to let him go because he's learning from the start that he can say that. And even me or Sam, who are his like I don't even know how like we are everything to him in a weird way. Like if he says no to us and we listen,
yeah.
like that shows him he doesn't take shit from anybody. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
it.
think always been like that with Jordan too. Like she's
100%.
almost 3. And like I find oftentimes, and like no shade to the boomers, but like they're very quick to be like, oh, you won't give me a hug. I'm so sad. And it's like, no, no, that's not her job to make you happy, to give you a hug or a
100%.
kiss or whatever. And
Yeah.
like my reaction is always just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like if it says no, okay. And I just let
Yeah.
her go. Or like, oh,
Yeah.
a hug? No, okay.
Sure. All right.
She just wants to run and that's her thing and
Yeah,
whatever.
definitely. But I think it also shows them a lot of power in the word no, because they say no a lot because their kids there's a lot they don't want to do. No, sorry, you have to brush your teeth, you have to get in the bath, like that's
Yeah.
life. But I think it's really powerful that if they say no about not wanting to be held or touched, and people are quick to be like, okay, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be like, hey, I can say no, like I don't have to put up with that. Kind of teaches them, yeah, to kind of just create space, a safe space with them, which
Yeah.
is obviously very important, and that translates to just everything.
Yeah. And you guys have traveled a lot. So obviously you've traveled to Newfoundland, so like across the country and to the UK. So, and I think like a lot of people, especially a lot of our friends who don't even live in the province anymore, like everyone has to travel with a baby at some point.
Yeah, so true.
What tips do you have or anything that like really worked for you guys with traveling with an infant?
Traveling with Luca when he was 6 months old, when I came back to Newfoundland by myself, was so easy. Like he couldn't move, which was nice. Like he just kind of hung out. Like in the plane, I breastfed him on the way. So on the way up, I gave him like a teether just to kind of pop his ears. And then whenever we landed, I would breastfeed him to kind of like get his jaw going and his ears popping. I do. I gave him I had taken pacifiers away from him at that point because they were just starting to disrupt his sleep. But I made an exception on the plane because I knew it was like that motion was really good for his ears. So I let him have pacifiers on the plane. And then when he was asleep in my arms, I just put him in the carrier frontward facing. And then I put my seat back. So he was like laying on my chest with his legs like wrapped around me and he was just snoozing. I think he slept for like 5 hours or something crazy. But again, he was a really good sleeper from the start. So that was really easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he cried a single time. Like he was really, really good. When we flew with him for Christmas when he was 11 months old, that was interesting. Really, really hard. But we had like a million delays and cancellations, and he ended up being like 24 hours with a 2 hour nap. So he was just feral at that point, and I can't blame him. Like anybody would be tired.
Adults, but yeah.
100% exactly. But once Sam rocked him to sleep in his arms on the plane, we managed to get a couple hours here and there out of him. And then the way back, yeah, he just wanted to be moving around. That was a really tough age. I don't know if now he would be better. My I guess my tip would just be travel with them when they're young.
Yeah.
And like we aren't a screen time house, but we did break out Miss Rachel on the plane, and even that kind of got stale after a while. But I mean, We flew from Vancouver to London, which is 9 hours. So
Yeah,
it's a
it's
lot.
almost like whatever you need to do to survive in some,
100%.
yeah.
Absolutely. It is definitely survival mode. So we tried Miss Rachel, we tried Paw Patrol on the TV. We were like giving him like snacks. We were just kind of doing whatever we could.
Yeah. I
Try
guess
to
you'll see in July when you guys come home how it'll be
We will
with a one
see
and a
how
half
that
year
is. Yep. Yeah,
old.
he's a really, really busy boy. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
And I don't know if you like want to talk because I didn't even think about it until you said it earlier. If you want to talk about like your miscarriage or
I do, yeah.
yeah, because you mentioned it first. And I mean, I did an episode with my friend Megan Ivany who talked about more so like, well, no, I mean, same thing, like fertility issues and pregnancy loss.
Totally.
Do you want to talk about your experience with that?
Yeah, I think the more you talk about it, like the more normalized and it is because it is so common and so normal. And I feel like you don't really hear about it, A, until you're older, and then B, until you go through it yourself.
Yeah.
And then like the healthcare professionals are nothing but like helpful and trying to console you and make you like make it very clear that like this is not your fault and blah 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 blah. There's nothing you could have done. And then yet till you know someone who's gone through it, like bless Megan, I know she's obviously had a really rough go at it. Like I can't imagine. And it
Mhm.
looked different for everybody. Like some people like so I've miscarried 3 times now. So we miscarried the first time with Luca, and then we miscarried in March of this year, and then April of this year. No, February of this year and March of this year as well. And like we were really, really lucky all 3 times. Like it's really horrible to say that there is no lucky side to it. But when you look at the losses that some people go
Mhm.
through, like there really can be a lucky side to it. So like all 3 times I was only like 2, 3 weeks pregnant, which is early enough for us anyways. I can't speak to everybody else. Obviously, everybody's experience is very different, even if it is the same experience. Like we were early enough that we hadn't picked names and we hadn't like really accepted it and we didn't really have a huge lifestyle change.
Right.
Um,
And there's not
so
like the trauma that of like some people have where you have to give birth or things like that.
I can't imagine. And oh yeah, the women who have to go through that is like, I can empathize as much as I can, but really I cannot even truly relate. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we miscarried, but it was pretty much all it was 3 times was a late period.
Mhm.
But pretty much all a late period is your whole life is pretty much miscarriage from is pretty much what I've learned. And the doctors are kind of like, well, now we just have the technology to know and the like whatever it is, like the HCG detectors and like the pregnancy tests. But like now we know that we're pregnant really, really
Right.
early, but they're like in the past, people would have just called it a late period.
Right.
Yeah, so super, super common. And yeah, it doesn't not I don't want to say it doesn't make it any easier because I personally I think it kind of does. For me, again, I can't speak to anybody else's loss. I'm not trying to like
Yeah.
downplay anybody else's loss, but for me personally, the sooner the better. Just on so many levels, even on the fact of like your body wasn't ready to do what it had to do, and like to carry that baby 1 day later would have been hard. 1 week later, 1 month, God forbid, how much longer? Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have wanted to carry that, and it isn't even a baby at that point. I don't think again people can have their beliefs, but I wouldn't have wanted to carry any further than when I miscarried because yeah, it
Yeah.
gets horrible and I can't imagine. Yeah. But yeah, it happens. It's really, really common. Like really, really common.
Yeah. And like you said, I don't think people realize how common it is. And I feel like as we got older and like obviously a lot of our friends are having kids and like this is happening. And I find like a lot of our moms or like mom friends are like, oh yeah, that happened to me or that happened to whoever. And it's
Yeah.
like, why was this never really talked about? Like you said,
No.
unless until you're like older or until you're going through it.
Yeah.
So even just talking about it like this, like does, I don't want to say normalize it because it is normal, but
But it's almost like a taboo thing to talk about,
yeah,
which again, some people don't want to talk about, and that's okay. But like, I just think people just need to know when it comes time to start trying for a baby. If you do miscarry, like that's fine. People move on to have great pregnancies. And I've said to Sam a million times, I'm like, if Luca is our 1 in a trillion chance, like hopefully he's not.
yeah,
But if he's like our 1 in a trillion, like how fucking lucky do we get? Like I had a miscarriage and I had the most health, like my pregnancy was perfect, aside from like my little hernia that I had. And I don't think my birth story has anything to do with that, but like I had a very healthy pregnancy.
yeah,
Can definitely go on to have, a healthy pregnancies and healthy kids.
Right.
I know like the first time I miscarried, I had to go get blood work to see what my human growth, HCG, human growth, HG, whatever it is,
Yeah,
human
yeah.
growth hormone they look in your blood for. I had to go get that done because they do it like I went to Emerge and they did blood work there and they were like, well, your HCG level is low, but you're really early pregnant. So like it's hard to say if you're right where you should be or if your levels are too low. So what they did for me the first time is they sent me for blood work 48 hours later and then they compared the two levels. So like if it increased, you're still pregnant. If it went down, then obviously you're not. So the first time I miscarried, I had to miss work that day. Like I woke up at like 8 a.m. and I had miscarried overnight. Remember, I called my mom. Mom was like, "Oh, we'll just go to work and see how the day goes, and then if you're still bleeding, go to the hospital after work." And I was kind of like, "No, I'm probably gonna call 811 and see what they want me to do." And then they were like, "Well, if it's an ectopic pregnancy, we want you to go to Emerge like now. That can be fatal." So anyway, so yeah, they were pretty much were like, "Yeah, we can't tell." So then they sent me 48 hours later for blood work. So I went after work a couple days later, and I ended up finding out the next day that I miscarried. And then the day after that, I was teaching my grade sevens, like I had grade seven English, and they were just sweet, like just the best kids, like my favorite class, one of my favorites I've ever taught.
Mhm.
And they were like, Madame, like we saw you outside the doctor's office, like why were you there? And I was like really, really caught off guard and I didn't know what to say. And like you know me, like I can carry on and I can make a joke and I can like brush things on the rug, like it's fine. But like that was one of the first times in my life I genuinely was like I
Yeah.
didn't know what to say to them because like, I was still processing that and it was really bizarre to be put on the spot and I just kind of froze and then I was like I'll tell you guys about it another time.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers would not let it go. So this
And you know
happened
what? We would have done the same
oh
thing
my
to
God,
our
I
grade
should have
seven.
never said it. I should have never said it, but they start so I think it was like April 1st I miscarried. So from April 3rd to the end of June, every single time I saw them. I'm not kidding you. Every single, so I had them every second day. Every second day, Madame, when are you going to tell us? When are you going to tell us? When are you going to tell us? To the point where it became such a big thing. They wrote it on the whiteboard. It was like, don't forget to tell us the doctor story. And I got to the point, I was like, I'll tell you the last day of school. And I'm
Oh,
like going through, I know it's not grieving. I know it's not,
but
but
yeah,
it kind of is grieving what you thought you would have
yeah,
or grieving you like, though it wasn't technically again, you can believe what you want. To me, what I believe at that point, it was not a baby, but you still can grieve that loss. It's really weird. But as me, like trying to navigate that for the first time and then having someone constantly bring it up and constantly bring it up. But they were just curious, like they're kids. Anyway, so it got to very soon to like very close to the last day of school. And I was like, what am I going to tell these kids, man? Like, I can't just say I'm not going to tell you.
hmm,
I told them I would, and then I could make something else, like make something up. But I was like, oh, that kind of be a cop out. And so I decided to tell them. I was like, they are really mature, and I was like, it needs to be normalized. And if this helps one little girl in that class who someday has a miscarriage and is like, you know what, Madame Jane's had a miscarriage and she is fine, and she had a baby and she is okay, and I will be okay. Or if it helps one little boy in that class support his wife someday down the line, or his sister, or his mother, or whoever it is, I was like, I'm gonna be very, very real with this kids. And so the last day of school, I had them because they're all obsessed with their phones now, obviously. So I was like, everybody put your hands on your head, stand up, push your chair to keep your hands on your head. I was like, I'm going to tell you the doctor story, but I do not want you recording it for your friends who are not here. I was like, this is something that I went through that I'm being very honest and open with you about. And I was like, I would really respect you to respect my privacy and to keep this in the classroom.
right.
And so I told them, and then one of my students was like, that happened to my mom. And someone else was like, that happened to my old teacher. And then someone else was like, oh, that happened. And I was like, this was a good choice. I was like, this, it really was a moment in my career where I was like, I could be a teacher or I could be a person. And I was
Mm.
like, I'm going to be really fucking real with these kids. And yeah, it totally paid off
Uh-huh.
because they were really receptive of it. And they were like, are you okay? Are you pregnant now? I was pregnant, but I told them no because
Yeah,
I wanted a job in September.
yeah.
But they were like, are you okay? Like, what's going, like, they were just, oh, they were just so sweet and so like concerned for my well-being. They were like, wow, swear we pestered you. I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, thanks for that.
Well,
But
lesson learned, maybe.
normalize it. Yeah, mind your business.
Yeah, mind your business.
But it could have been.
If you could give advice to anyone, I guess at any point, like with a newborn, or just maybe like advice for the first year of motherhood.
Um, Advice for the first year, be selfish. Be very, very selfish for your needs and your baby's needs and your family's needs. Like you have a helpless little baby who cannot speak for themselves. If you have something that you do at home or something you don't want happening, like you are the voice for your baby. And if it comes across as selfish and it comes across as, oh, Hailey's a bitch, well, so be it. Move on.
Yep.
Like my actual friends and my actual family will understand my decisions and they'll support them. If it upsets them, sorry. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's my life and you should respect how I feel. That's
Mhm.
personally where I feel. But I mean, I've always kind of been that
Yeah.
kind of person.
I think
It's,
if you asked your like yeah, I can hear you in like grade 7 being like, "Oh, Haley's a bitch. I don't care." Like
I'll tell you how it, and
yeah.
I think, I don't know. I don't have, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, being selfish, I think. Like just, oh, I remember like being newly, like a new mom, like saying no felt so good. Like if
Mhm.
people were like, oh, want to do this? No. Not flat out like that. But like to me, there's something really just so refreshing about like speaking up for yourself and saying no and not like being a people pleaser all the time. Like that is your time to like let your body do what it needs to do and
Yeah.
enjoy the time with family. And then I find now like paying whatever, not whatever obviously, but like paying a little extra if it means convenience, I'm paying it.
Mm.
Like when very shortly after Luca was born, like, we were lucky to have mom with us for 3 weeks. But I quickly realized when she was with us, like caring for babies, not in our situation anyway. I was like, it wasn't the caring for the baby that was hard. It was everything else. It was like cooking for ourselves and cleaning for ourselves. I was like, mom made dinner every single night. And I was like, how am I supposed to eat when you leave?
Right.
Mop my floors. Like she did everything. And I was like, how do we even exist without her? So very shortly after she left, we started doing HelloFresh, and that was amazing. Like just not having to think about dinners and not having to go grocery shop and not have to do anything like that and just have it come to the door. Oh, we did HelloFresh from I think until Luca was it was until we went to England actually. So we did it almost for a year.
Oh
And
wow.
it just took so much stress out of like planning and preparing. And the food was really, really good. I
Yeah,
should be getting this is when I'm like, use code Hailey to get 10% off. No, I don't have that. You should have to take my word for it.
someone trying to sponsor her.
Yeah, right? No, the food was so good. Really, really good.
Yeah,
And
and the
yeah,
way they do it is like nothing's wasted too. Like it's like
yeah, money wise, I think it was very affordable and I think it was very, very fair for what you get. And the portions were huge. Um, yeah, we only canceled it because we went to England for a month and I think they wouldn't let you like they let you skip meals. So if you're like going on vacation or whatever, you can like skip weeks. And we ended up skipping like I think we were gone for a total of like 4 deliveries. And I was like, oh, we'll just cancel it and we'll just redo it when we get back. And it just didn't. Like I think by that point we kind of had it sussed and we had to figure it out.
yeah.
But yeah, pay if you feel like you need to do a delivery order from the grocery store, do it. Like if you really cannot get out of the house and you had a rough night or whatever the reason is, just do it. Like who cares? Pay that $10 to get your groceries delivered.
Yeah. That makes sense. Again, it's all like about just keep, what you got to do to keep your sanity.
100% because there are like survival mode parts of your life with a child. So
Yeah.
yeah, you got to do.
And if you could ask yourself a question, like you yourself in a year or two, what, or I don't know, like asking yourself a question or maybe asking yourself like advice, or maybe even because like my next episode is going to be with someone who, hopefully is going to be with someone who is like on her second baby.
Mm.
So like maybe where you'll be in a year or two, or I mean, regardless, she'll have like a 3-year-old. So like you in a year or two. Or like you can also say you don't want it. Like I asked Sarah Connor that and she said that like she doesn't really like I said, if you could ask yourself a question like yourself any question in a year, what would it be? She was like, I don't want to know anything.
Mm.
She was like, it's been so fun, like not knowing and just like every day is new.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there is anything. I don't know. I'm not like a I definitely have become more of a worrier as a just to be clear, I'm saying worrier, like an anxious, nervous
Yeah.
worrier with age, but I think I still am kind of just not a worrier at my core. So that I don't have a lot of like stresses about the future
Yeah.
when it comes to like mothering. And like I don't care if it's conceited to say like I know I'm a really good mom and I know Sam and I are doing a really, really good job.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's nothing that really comes
I
to
think
mind.
that's good. I'm curious to see like what everyone else is gonna say, but I think that's a good answer is like you're like at peace and content with what you're doing. And
Right now, yeah, we had a good day. Tomorrow, Luca could be a spawn of Satan on Earth, and I might have a million questions, but today was a good
yeah,
day.
yeah.
But, yeah. Hmm. I guess kind of on a tangent, but on that note as well, like when you have a child, like your partner's going to show their true colors. Like for me, it was in the best kind of way, but I
Mhm.
know for a lot of people, it's not. Like Sam's the like I wouldn't change anything about. I mean, he's again a bit of a worrier, but like parenting style wise, like there's nothing I would change. And he's like so quick to change a diaper, or he's so quick to clean up after dinner, or offer to make dinner, or offer to go out and pick up diapers if it's like 11 o'clock at night, or just like I know when he was working, he would work like 9 to 5 and come home and just entertain Luca until bedtime. And like after working all day, it's
Yeah,
hard, man. Like it's really hard to come home to a kid who has been waiting for you all day and has all this energy to burn, and they just don't really give a fuck if you've had a tiring day or you haven't eaten
yeah,
or whatever. But I can't think of very many times where he was like, I can't do it. And if he did say that, he was exhausted. So like a couple days ago, like it's funny to say, but like not really. But like he was asking me for help. Like he was like, I'm taking on so much. He's like, you think you could pay? I was like, yeah, that's actually fair. I was like, I've been slacking. So since we came here, I've been subbing during the days
right,
and then serving every now and then. Like I'm not working two jobs in one day, but like Sam's waiting to find work right now. So he is a stay-at-home dad and I'm like the one who's working.
right.
And yeah, a couple days ago, he was like, I'm at my breaking point. Like, I really need some help around the house. And I was like, how lucky am I to have a partner who lets me do that? Not lets me, but a lot of women aren't allowed. It's so stupid to say, but it's true. But
Yeah.
who is happy staying home with Luca and happy taking on that like motherly role, which like that like gender roles are so annoying. But um, yeah, just to be lucky to have someone who is taking on so much to the point where he needs to ask me to help when like you would have never seen that
Oh. But
10, 20 years ago.
that's like what you want. I mean, it just like all I find every episode I do, it always ties back to what we said before. And like it just ties back to like having a partner who is equal to you. Like
100%.
there was a period of
Yeah.
time where you were home all day, he was working. Things happen, shit changes, and now you're kind of vice versa. And
Yeah.
it's give and take. And yeah, I love that.
Yeah. It's been a really cool learning experience for both of us. Like now I see how tiring it is to come home after working all day. No, I mean, I only work till 3 o'clock, but it's a full day when I'm there, but coming home and just wanting to relax. But it's like also like I've been waiting to see Luca all day,
Yeah.
which is so cool. And then Sam's now seeing, oh, maybe when I am working, I should be putting my dishes in the dishwasher. Like just little tiny things that we're learning about now that it's kind of switched and like we've had like a new perspective. Yeah, it's been cool. They picked me up from work the other day, and I always say hi to Luca first, just because like
Yeah.
sorry, but I do. So I opened the door in the back seat, and he was like, "Yeah, yeah." And then I like went in to give him a kiss on the cheek, I think, and he like kissed my nose. He went, kiss my nose, and then he went
Oh,
hug, hug, hug. It was so cute. And the other day I was at Urban Planet trying something on that came out of the change room. He did the same thing. He's like, "Yeah, yeah."
that's
I was like,
amazing.
so I have to get this shirt then. Everybody was like looking. I was like, oh my.
That is so cute.
It was so cute. He's such a good kid, man. Like
When your son is your hype man, I love it.
oh, he's the best. He's so funny. And like, yeah, he started being really like a lot more snuggly lately than he has been. So like at bedtime, I'll like we do the same bedtime routine, which I think is a big reason he's a good sleeper. I don't know. Um, yeah, anyways. Yeah, good sleeper. I think a routine has a lot to do with it. So I'll read him a book, I'll sing him a song, and then I put him down. And then I was singing to him yesterday, and he like I hold his bum like kind of around my belly button, and he rests his head like on my shoulder. And as I was singing to him, he just like lifted his head up and like put his hands on my cheeks and like kissed me on the nose and like put his head back down and continued to listen to me sing. I was like, oh, it's just the best.
Oh, yeah. And that stuff is so like sweet and special. Like
Yeah.
Jordan's like 3 now, and I'm like, oh my God, where did that time go? And like those,
I can't believe she's that old.
oh my
Does
God,
she
I
have
know.
just like so much attitude right now?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes. Like, no, I don't want to do that. No, don't touch me. Like,
yeah,
which I
yeah.
love. It's like, okay, love this for you.
But it's
But
like, okay.
But then it's also like, no, I don't want to clean up. No, I don't. Well, actually,
Yeah.
okay, she doesn't really say that, but like just an example,
Yeah.
like you were saying, like it's time to brush your teeth. It's time to do this. You got to put a coat
Yeah.
on. No, I don't want to.
Yeah. Luke is in his real no phase right now. No,
Yeah.
no.
Her biggest thing though, I think is like she loves coming up here and like seeing me and mom and dad and Jonathan because like it's like the fun house and like we'll give her
Yeah.
the ice cream or like we'll give her marshmallows when she leaves. And like she loves going in my room and like playing with shoes and playing with my makeup. And like this is
She
why I
always
say,
has though, hasn't she?
yes, like this is why I say though too, gender roles are not a thing. Like Mark and Jonathan have all their crap here. Like she
Yeah.
has trucks and bikes and all
Yeah.
these things, like boy toys. And she runs up to my room and like wants to put the lipstick on and wants to put lipstick on me and wants to brush my hair. And like
Yeah.
we were in the bathroom the other day. She's like, here, this will be your beauty appointment. And I was like, okay. She just
So
like pretended to do my hair. It's so cute. But no, that was all the questions I had, though. Thank you for sharing. And I just think, yeah, I think it's all like motivational and comforting. And like you said, like a lot of things is just normalizing it with motherhood.
yeah. Yep. Some days it's a dream. Some days it's a dumpster fire.
And I
Really
think like, not being afraid to say that is like a big part of it because I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
our moms, I feel like we're just like stayed home and I mean like not, I don't mean like not worked, but like I feel like they didn't get out in groups of other moms.
Mm, I don't think
Or
so.
like they obviously didn't have social media or like the way
Yeah.
to connect with other
Mm,
people. So
yeah, true. I never really thought of that. But you kind of knew the people you knew, and that was it. There was no other real way to meet other moms, which is
yeah.
cool. Like I met one mom through Bumble. Yeah, we're lucky to have a lot of resources today,
Yeah, totally.
which is cool.
Well, thanks so much. And I cannot wait to see you and Sam and Luca in July.
That's gonna be so busy. That's gonna be so fun. He's gonna be such a good age. We can like take him to like Lester's farm and take him to the beach and take
Yeah,
him to feed the ducks.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks for listening, everyone. And thanks again to Hailey for sharing a lot of her experiences. I think, like I said in the episode, it's good to talk about miscarriages and things like that because it is normalizing things that are straight up normal, and really knowing that you're not alone in those experiences. So I think that's good to share. I also really took away from this episode like how far we've come when it comes to gender roles. We kind of talked about that in both episodes and how important it is when you're choosing a partner to consider all of that. And also, I liked what she said about praising your partner in front of your kids. Like, it's such a simple way to teach them how to be a good partner themselves. And I think it really put into perspective, too, like how many more resources we have today as a generation of women who are becoming moms, like, or just parents in general, to be able to really look up so many things online and stay connected with people online. I think it's really helpful. But yeah, stay tuned for next time. We're going to be speaking with my friend Melissa, talking about having 2 children. So excited for that one. Stay tuned for that next week. You can also find me at Newfound Happy Hour on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And I will see you next Friday.